the government confirmed he might be willing to breach them along with international law.
Yes, this does break international law in a very specific and limited way. There are clear precedents for the UK and indeed other countries needing to consider their international obligations as circumstances change.
Surprised, even Conservatives shook their heads at a government shaking up the law. After all, the withdrawal agreement was only signed by Boris Johnson in January. It includes customs arrangements for Northern Ireland, allowing goods to flow and avoiding a hard Irish border if we don't get a trade deal. But tomorrow, the government will table a new internal market bill, which could override those clauses. And the Prime Minister, who helped negotiate them, is one of those with concerns.
How can the government reassure future international partners that the UK can be trusted to abide by the legal obligations of the agreements it signs?
It's a question the government's most senior lawyer couldn't answer. Sir Jonathan Jones today resigned, unable to sanction breaking a treaty. Neither could the Labour leader, at least not in this case.
Are you saying there are absolutely no circumstances whatsoever in which you would override the withdrawal agreement?
But I think what the government's proposing is wrong.
Is it unjustified in any circumstance?
It's wrong, but it's also masking what's in the national interest, which is getting a deal. The outstanding issues are not incapable of being resolved. The government needs to resolve them, get a deal. That's what the public want.
But some Tory MPs are giving up on one, egging the government on.
Is this really the way a respectable nation should be behaving?
I don't think the rest of the international community would have much respect for the United Kingdom. If we vote to leave the European Union, we vote to take back control over our own laws, and then we lie down and let the EU continue imposing their laws on us against our will. I think the international community will have more respect for the United Kingdom if we stand up for what we voted for.
It's easy to forget the arguing was supposed to be in here today, as a new round of trade talks with the EU started in London. But can European leaders trust the Prime Minister to make a deal when he's also willing to break one? Paul Brandt, News at 10.
And we can speak now to James, who's in Berlin tonight, for the perspective from the EU. What have you been hearing, James? And to Paul's point there, what are they saying about what trust they now have in the talks that are before them?
Well, they haven't been saying all that much publicly yet, because they are waiting to see, the big players anyway, exactly what is proposed tomorrow and whether it is as radical as has been suggested, though it has to be said the resignation of a top government lawyer doesn't fill them with any great confidence. It's been widely reported here in terms of astonishment what's been happening. Those who have spoken are former French Europe Minister Nathalie Loiseau, who says, look, you can't half break international law any more than you can be half pregnant. And the President of the European Parliament, David Sassoli, who says he's very, very worried about it. What this means for talks, we don't yet know. We know the capitals have been talking, Berlin, Paris, the Commission, trying to work out what to do. The talks resume today, though Michel Barnier didn't come to London. He arrives tomorrow, and his big meeting with David Frost, his British counterpart, is on Thursday. But in terms of what you can do in terms of negotiating a new agreement, when one side is already threatening to override parts of a previous agreement that you signed just a few months ago, I mean, obviously it has huge impact, as Paul was saying, in terms of trust, in terms of confidence that the Johnson government is someone you can do business with. And this, these talks were in trouble anyway. This is going to put them really into a crisis state, I suspect.
James, thank you for that. If the UK government does go back on the Northern Ireland past the divorce deal,
These are the ones I'm looking at to replace the 65-inch IPS LG TV that I've just sold.
Customs paperwork and procedures may have to change before they've even been brought.
Hopefully I'll get one come Black Friday.
To flow smoothly in and out of Northern Ireland after Brexit was always going to pose challenges. But today, businesses feared their preparations may just have gone